That's when we can start talking about who's going to come first. But in the build-up to the second break, these next 4 rounds, it's about jockeying for position, trying to stay on 100%. And Hans Niemann, we start with him. For the first time we see him in action, it's the French defense. And it could become one of the craziest variations of the French defense if Hans has the courage to push his pawn forward. Often the white queen comes out to start attacking pawns as well. And it gets a bit wild. But no, his opponent pushes a pawn. The queen does come out anyway, big threat, and the bishop goes home. This is very old theory that was first seen, I believe, in the 1950s. And Hans Niemann starts pushing some pawns forward. Let's see whether he can keep up his momentum. What a rating that is, 32-22. That is sky high. Hans Niemann, so dangerous at blitz especially.
But he is playing against an 18-year-old Polish grandmaster who also has a rating of 2,972, almost 3,000, who is not an easy opponent for Hans, who does have 4 points out of the 4 possible. And last week, he got 6 points in what was a very tough field. So this is a good opponent, but Hans obviously the favorite here.
Yeah. Very, very interesting position as well we found ourselves in. Black slightly better already, apparently. Hans Niemann looking off to the side, not even looking at the board as he makes some moves. And Black now significantly better. Maybe it's because the white queen is going to be kicked to the side of the board. She's nearly trapped, only has 1 safe square to retreat to. But Hans looking confident in the meantime. Okay, maybe the black king is going to castle towards the left side just to try and seek safety over there. The white queen has been kicked back. And what do we think here? Hans playing quickly, but questionable moves.
Yeah, and he's not talking. I mean, Hans has been known to do some streaming as well, but it doesn't seem like he's doing that now. Or if he is certainly very concentrated on the game in front of him and finding good moves, making sure he doesn't lose his queen, taking this opponent seemingly very seriously.
Yeah, and big moment there. White could have potentially pushed a pawn forward due to a pin to try and kick away the black knight. But that option wasn't used by Hans Niemann. He just wants to keep the tension. Black pushes a pawn. Everything very, very solid on light squares. And okay, Hans, I see this being his strategy quite often in Title Tuesday. He just kind of waits, just as our featured chat says there at the top of our screens. Don't tilt the Tuesday. He just waits and waits and waits. Doesn't get tilted anymore. And he takes his chances when they come. And there we go. Black's king is castled very safely onto the other side of the board. With locked pawn structures, it tends to be a long, long game. So I wouldn't be shocked if this comes down to a big time scramble come the end of it.
And Hans has so far been using his time very wisely. He's had a lot of quick moves and is now advancing on the queen side where the king of his Polish opponent is located. It's like a war on both sides of the board. Who is going to be the first to attack?
Exactly. Who would you pick here? White or black? Which attack is more dangerous?
Oh, I always feel that the attack that is most dangerous is the one that is against me. So I would just, no matter who I was, I would be a little bit worried in this situation because an attack is incoming, no matter who you are.
So if you're white, do you think black has the advantage? If you're black, you think white is better?
Yeah, basically. That is my negative way of viewing my games.
I know the feeling. I think all chess players were always kind of worried that the game ends in some sudden mate and it will go down in the history books. Your opponent will be telling their friends about it.
I think Malek is kind of, he seems to be retreating and defending his king and having a focus on that. So maybe he's thinking the same way as me that like, oh, this looks scary. I have to put all my pieces in defense. But now Hans actually locks the left side of the board.
Wow, that is very interesting from Hans Niemann. He's essentially arguing that this has given him one beautiful square that the white knights will have access to. Black gets a square as well, but black's knights can never land on this outpost here on the c4 square we're highlighting. Nothing can ever get there. There's no route forward. So although it is blocked, Hans Niemann is the only one who can ever open up that lock structure with his pawns a bit later. Maud, I think we're going to soon see, okay, maybe not after this move, but later see a king march over to the other side of the board where the king is safer before blowing open the right flank. This is very interesting now.
It's always fun when there are many king moves in a row, and Niemann can also find perhaps more safety on the other side of the board where the pawns are more locked. But the bar is saying that he is much better after this recent move by the Polish grandmaster, the 18-year-old, who is aggressively trying to open the left side of the board.
Wow.
Sacrificing a pawn?
Yeah, maybe he's miscalculated here. Maybe he thought after a trade of knights that the black rooks could go hunting for that pawn. But as soon as the black bishop ever moves, there's going to be a nasty, nasty check.
Oh.
So that's going to be a fork. It's going to hit the black king, hit the black queen. You cannot get greedy really ever and win that pawn back. We are being told that Hikaru is in big trouble against Durabaili, the strong Azerbaijani grandmaster. But for now, it does look like it's good news for at least one American, Hans Niemann, with a big, big advantage as he brings his rook to stare down at this backward pawn that can never, ever move. There we go, a check, kicking the black king into the corner.
Oh, look at the rook and the knight in perfect positions now. And it looks like Niemann is just like squishing Malek, and he almost doesn't have any pieces that can move forwards.
Yeah, today's just been a tale of block structures, one side getting very, very kind of cramped, and the other side just trying to build up for the breakthrough. Look how the pieces flooding forward now for Hans Niemann.
And Sarana, who also had 4 points before this round, has lost his first game against an international master, so a small upset there. Sarana, who has also won a title Tuesday in this season and won many times before the format was changed, so he's probably quite disappointed that he has lost this fifth round.
Yeah, tough times for Alexei Sarana, and yeah, losing with white today in the World Cup. That's going to be heartbreaking to Jose Martinez. He's got to win on demand tomorrow. He was probably hoping for a confidence boost in this tournament.
Yeah.
But not so far. As Hans Niemann just going around in circles, he's trying to eat time off his opponent's clock. This is very good advice for everyone at home. If it is a block pawn structure, don't rush. Just play quick moves, keep improving your pieces. Eventually, your threats will tell, and your opponent might be losing time on the clock. And there we go. Desperation from Jan Malek. He gives up a pawn. That can be taken in a couple of different ways. Probably it should be this pawn taking, but now black's trying to seek some counterplay on the other side. Hans switches his attention. Very, very two-sided black's problems here. On the king side, queen side, everything. And white's bishop is coming in. White's now a pawn to the good. And the clock as well, playing such a big role in all of the games we see today.
Yeah, and it's really the players who have mastered this 5 minutes, no extra time per move, no increment as we call it. Those players get paid off really well because they know how important the clock is. And once you're down to 24 seconds, you're never getting that time back. And so Hans, he knows that every second is valuable. He needs to keep his tempo high. Even when he has 2 minutes left, he is pressuring his opponent on the clock.
Yeah, his opponent's defended very well here, Malek. Like, he's going to put his knight in front of one pass pawn. We see him appear finally. And yeah, it's just Hans Niemann's other pawns that are going to do the damage. The H and the G pawns pushing forward. And there we go. It is a blunder, eventually a knight sacrifice by Malek. That might just be resignation. Down a bishop now, with white's pawn still marching. That pawn will cost black his rook. Hans, he hasn't needed to step out of second gear here, but now he is upping the tempo. And he's going to win in just a minute or so. There we go. The clock running out to 0. Malek runs out of time. Hans Niemann takes